Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television, live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. A federal high court vacates an order empowering AMCON to take over the Murtala Mohammed Airport, MMA2. The president confers national honors on 313 Nigerians for exemplary conduct. The Lagos State Governor, Babatunde Fashola, calls for patience on synagogue building collapse investigation. And protests in Hong Kong continue as tens of thousands of people camped on the streets defy calls to go home. Well, all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Now, 24 hours after fire gutted the Kara cattle market in Ogun State, traders are still trying to unravel the mystery surrounding the incident. A visit to the market today saw the traders trying to salvage what's left of their property. The secretary to the Ogun State government, Mr. Taiwo Adeoluwa, along with some members of the cabinet and emergency agencies, were also there to assess the situation. It's the second time fire has affected the market in a year, an incident the authorities say will be thoroughly investigated. Our correspondent, Oreoluwa Shonibare, reports.
People and animals are still in disbelief of what happened. The only thing they can do is to pick up the pieces the best way they can. Recovery is never an easy task, especially in situations such as this. A night before, this was the scene here at the Kara cattle market. Today, both people and animals are sharing a stranded fate. Adults and children alike feel a sense of responsibility to rebuilding. This is not just regarded as a marketplace, but as a home, as they gather the animals for trade. Arriving for assessment of the damage is the Secretary to the Ogun State Government, Mr. Taiwo Adeoluwa, along with the Commissioners of Environment and Physical Planning, as well as officials of emergency agencies. The community leaders, however, smell a rat in the way the fire occurred.
He's saying that we have been here for almost getting to 20 years. But for the last 3 or 4 years that when the market has functioned and divided into two, we have no rest of mind in this place.
A claim the visiting officials promised to investigate as it supports in the reconstruction process.
We intend to support them to mitigate their losses. Our team is here from SEMA, and NEMA is also here. We will assess the level of damage and see what we can do immediately to assist them.
Ours is to follow the policy as it has been laid down, sensitize the people, and then occasionally monitor them. We have been speaking with the State Emergency Management Agency to be on the guard to ensure that this place is properly monitored to avert this kind of thing in the future.
As everyone waits for this to happen, all that is left for some to do till then is feast. Oreoluwa Shonibare, Channels Television News.
We now continue with our coverage and review of Nigeria's 54th independence anniversary. Our focus tonight is politics. It has been a journey some have described as challenging. The question of leadership and harmonization of our ethnic and cultural differences has been a major highlight of the over 5-decade journey. In this next report, Our political correspondent, Seun Okinbaloye, reviews the nation's political development.
54th Independence Anniversary in Nigeria, and welcome to the Tafawa Balewa Square, the popular racecourse in Lagos. This is where 54 years ago Nigeria held its independence celebration, precisely on the 1st of October 1960. This is where the colonial masters handed Nigeria's destinies into their hands and put them at the driver's seat of their lives. And so the journey to nationhood began for a people with over 250 different languages and hundreds of ethnic groups. The challenge of leadership stares in the face. Just like a toddler learning to walk, settling into a democratic life became a challenge. Various military governments, following a series of interventions, took about 2/3 of the 54 years of our nation as an independent entity.
We talk of civil rule in Nigeria, but you go everywhere, you see military in control of virtually everything.
It's about 15 years since the start of this current dispensation. Some analysts believe our current political experience still a thing of military culture.
The majority of our politicians, as we speak, still suffer from that military hangover, because many of them were raised, they were weaned on the ethos of the military in power.
Each time Nigeria is confronted with the issue of choice of leadership, two major questions surface. Where should the power go and who gets what?
People are not interested in competencies. They're interested in who is there and where does it come from, even if when the man does not fit the bill. And in the process, everybody is drawn in, and there's underdevelopment.
The clamor for a final resolution of the age-long differences has always dominated national discourse, leading some Nigerians to propose a sovereign national conference. In answer to that call, several conferences have been organized in the past, but the national question has remained. The latest conference organized by President Goodluck Jonathan has submitted its recommendations and are awaiting implementation. The question is that really the way out?
For convoking the national conference is the major problem of solving our problem in this country. Anybody talking about unity and all, he is the man who has laid the foundation for it. Because everybody knows where he stands. We have agreed that we want to live together. We have also agreed on how, what method.
Free, fair, and transparent election in Nigeria leading to a legitimate government. If you can do this, you can solve all other problems.
The year 2015 will be a defining year for the nation for a number of reasons. The challenges seem great, but the ability of the people of Nigeria to stay through may well be determined again by the sort of leadership it gets and the path they choose to follow. Seun Okinbaloye reporting for Channels Television News.
I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by a professor of international law at the University of Lagos, Professor Akin Oyebode. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Thank you.
Well, perhaps we should start where that report ended, talking about 2015 being a defining year for Nigeria. People keep on saying that. What kind of leadership do you think the nation needs now?
Well, I think we have to go back to Joseph de Maistre, who said that a people get the leadership that they deserve. What type of leadership does Nigeria or do Nigerians deserve? I think we need a proactive, conscious, tenacious, focused leadership that has a game plan, has a vision, and has a mission, and can put together the team that could actualize that vision. Hitherto, we've not gotten that type of leadership. If we're going to have more of the same, then it will be very sad indeed, because Nigeria is a very important country in the world. is the largest concentration of black people you find anywhere. We have humongous resources, both natural and human. There's practically no area of human endeavor that you don't have Nigerian expertise in. And the resources we have give Nigeria a lot of promise. But again, everything is potentialities. We are yet to really fulfill these hopes and aspirations.
Yeah, but Prof, we always talk about political actors and leaders. Don't followers also have a role to play?
Yes, indeed. As I said, to repeat the Meister, the people get the government that they deserve. So the people themselves are those who put leaders in office. So if you raise the level of political consciousness of our people to be able to separate wheat from chaff, then we can rely on their wisdom to elect proper persons in positions of leadership. But that will not come automatically. It has to be a work in progress. We have to continue to conscientize the people in order to know the type of men and women that should lead this country.
Well, out of 54 years of independence, about 30 years or a little over 3 decades have been spent under military rule. And maybe we've had continuous democracy for the last 15 years. Are we not actually expecting too much? Are we being realistic about our expectations?
Well, I think you don't blame people for being of great expectations. Part of the qualities of conscious people is to put those who want to lead them in severe tests. In other words, we have to dream dreams, and we have leaders that can envision the type of country that they want to create. Remember Lee Kuan Yew, who moved his country, Singapore, from third world to first. That's the type of leadership that I'm talking about. You must have an idea as to where you want to put Nigeria and how you are going to do it. If you lack that vision and you don't have a mission, then you are disqualified for leadership. That's in my judgment. But the generality of the people suffer from what you call false consciousness. They mistake the wood for the trees. So we have to do something about the consciousness of our people in order to make the right demands on those who stake a claim to leadership in this country.
So how are we going to evolve a system that actually suits our culture and, well, ethnic peculiarities?
That's a tall order. As you know, I was in the National Confab, and for 5 months or thereabouts, representatives were not chosen, people who were appointed, as it were, to think out and reconfigure Nigeria, labored very hard indeed to think out solutions to the problems that you identified. The fault lines of Nigeria are well known in terms of ethnic diversity, then the class issue, rich, poor, and then the question of mass illiteracy. Then, of course, those who go to bed hungry at night. The majority of our people have been shortchanged. And what I think we need to do is to devise a system of government which will enthrone the people as the actual sovereigns. For far too long, people have been relegated, and they've tended to worship those who claim to be their leaders. I think Nigerians have to develop the attitude of washing all these leaders with cynical acid so that we can get the proper type of leadership that is deserving of 170 million. We don't even know how many Nigerians there are. So for me, a more important date is 2016, the year of the census, when we get to know how many really are we in this country.
And at that point, Professor, I'll have to say thank you very much for joining us on the News at 10.
You are most welcome.
I've been speaking with Professor Akin Oyebode on politics over the last 54 years. When the news at 10 returns, stockbrokers at the Nigerian stock market hail the return of initial public offers, say it's a sign of renewed confidence in the market.